Selamat pagi, good morning, ohayo gozaimasu, annyeonghaseyo. Welcome to our virtual open day at ACG School Jakarta. My name is Mia Sari. I run admissions at ACG School Jakarta, and I will be your host this morning. So here with us today we have academic leaders, teachers, and student leaders joining us on site and online to provide you information on our kindergarten, TK, primary school, SD, middle school, SMP, and high school, SMA. During the event, if you have any questions at all, please ensure to add them to the Q&A feature to allow us follow up with you after the events. First of all, let's give a warm welcome to our principal, Mr. Sean Hutchinson.
Thanks very much, Mia, and a nice warm welcome to families out there online. Really lovely to have you joining us this morning. I'd just like to take you through a few slides that we have just to introduce you to ACG School Jakarta and just to make sure that you've got a little bit of an overview as we go into further details about our programs. So ACG was founded in 2004, and we're a part of a wider education group. So we are a part of Inspired Education and Academic Colleges Group out of New Zealand. Inspired Education Group own and operate over 70 schools globally. So we're really fortunate to be a part of this growing network of schools. We work very, very closely with our inspired schools in New Zealand, Australia, Vietnam, and we have some strong partnerships, and we certainly have our teachers working closely together to provide each other with support and professional growth. But we also have opportunities within the group that we provide students. So we have students engaged in online events, particularly recently. We have students involved in a range of activities that connect our students with other students around the globe. So it's really a positive experience for us as a small international school in South Jakarta to be a part of a global network of schools. So as I said, we were founded in 2004 as an international school. But over the last 3 years, we've been able to really understand who we are and what we do, and our guiding statements certainly provide us with that foundation that strengthens our identity and gives us a real sense of purpose. Our mission is very much about being a part of a diverse learning environment. And our diversity doesn't just stretch with our student population, where we have over 30 nationalities represented, but our faculty are also a diverse faculty coming from a range of different backgrounds. So we're really fortunate to be in a really dynamic learning environment, and also a very welcoming environment for our families. Our vision is very clear, and it's underpinned by 4 pillars really. We want to focus on creativity, problem solving, innovation and entrepreneurial skills, and not just helping our students develop those skills, but our faculty, our support staff also really trying to live that vision and be a part of a school community that is looking forward and providing opportunities for each other. So our vision is very much about where we want to be in the future, and we're working really hard across a range of different areas to realise that vision. We certainly are driven by our values. Our core values are underpinned by family values, strong sense of family and community. But we are focused on excellence, and it's not just academic excellence in terms of results, but it's ensuring that we work with each other to strive every day to get the very best out of ourselves. And so that core value of excellence is very much a part of the wider group, but certainly a part of what we do every day as a school. Our partnerships are growing and they're getting stronger. We're a part of the ASAC conference, which is the ASEAN Sport and Athletic Conference. We also are involved in a range of different groups and conferences here in Indonesia and Jakarta. And of course, our partnerships with our Inspired Education Group schools is also important for us, as well as connecting with community groups, both in our local community but also our global communities. And so we do a lot of work to provide students and adults with lots of opportunities to build partnerships. We're very much focused on integrity and making sure that we operate with honesty, and that builds trust within the community. And so that's something that we demonstrate each and every day through our interactions with each other. And of course, compassion, and certainly through the pandemic, this core value has been really critical for us as a community. We need to be we have been looking after each other. We've been looking after our students and making sure that we're all focused on our health and well-being, but also trying to put ourselves in the position of other people. And so that value of compassion is something that really drives us forward. So we're really ideally located in South Jakarta. The school location is fantastic for both Indonesian families and expat families. We're on a main road, so really easy to access from lots of different locations in and around South Jakarta and wider Jakarta. So we have students travelling from lots of different locations, and we also have a bus service that's really customised for families to support that transport situation to and from home. So location is something that we think is a real strength for us as a school, and certainly if you are wanting to come and visit the school, just look at your map, get in the car and come and visit us, please. The school itself started with Academic Colleges Group back in 2001 with an English school, and then we transitioned to a full international school in 2004. And we've been fully authorised with the IB Primary Years program, and that primary year program has been running for many years now. And in recent years, we transitioned from Cambridge A-level programs to the IB diploma. And then most recently, we've been a member of the Council of International Schools, and that's allowed us to continue our journey where the focus is very much on school improvement. So in terms of our facilities, we're very fortunate to have a very compact campus. We're a small international school in South Jakarta, but we have facilities that provide a range of educational opportunities and experiences for our young people. We deliver an international curriculum, which is really important for both our local and international families. We offer a range of languages. And of course, one of the most important things for us as a small community is to really maintain a small staff to student ratio, so students get the very best care and attention in the classroom that they can. We provide English language support as well as some counselling support, and of course a range of after-school activities and experiences for our students across the school. In terms of our facilities themselves, we've done a lot of work over the last 3 years to develop in this area. So our arts department continues to grow and get stronger. We have a fully equipped cafeteria. Recently we've moved our library, so we have a library for both kindergarten and primary, middle and high students. We've got science labs that provide opportunities for students to engage in pure sciences, chemistry, physics and biology. And then of course we've got our sporting facilities that provide opportunity for both physical education but also co-curricular opportunities where students can play their preferred sport. So in terms of our levels and how we kind of provide a progression across the school, so we start in kindergarten with 3-year-olds, and then we move through to our primary school where we offer the IB Primary Years program, through to middle school where we're offering the Cambridge Lower Secondary program at years 7 through 9. And then, of course, at high school, our students begin the first 2 years of high school with IGCSE qualifications at 10 and 11, and then they progress through to the IB diploma at 12 and 13. And we also offer our own ACG School Jakarta High School Diploma. As I've been saying, the curriculum is certainly a strength for our school. We've been very committed to both Cambridge and the IB over many years. We follow a very similar pattern to what takes place in our school in Vietnam, where we offer the primary years program, followed by middle school and the first 2 years of high school with Cambridge, and then finish with the IB diploma. So our international curriculum provides that passport for students to either transition to other international schools or graduate and move on to universities around the world. So we're very much focused on developing 21st century learning skills. We do that through our international curriculum and through a holistic approach to teaching and learning and our inquiry-based approach. But we also develop 21st century learning skills by creating an environment where students feel safe, feel comfortable, and feel supported with their second family here at school. So that family-friendly feel is really an important part of our transition, particularly for students coming from local schools in Indonesia or coming from local schools offshore or other international schools, where our families and our students are supported through that transition and become familiar with our processes and our experiences here at ACG School Jakarta. We've got quality teachers that we recruit from around the globe, the school facilities I've spoken about, and really the university pathways and opportunities for students to springboard from ACG to universities around the world is something that we support wholeheartedly. So the Educator Profile gives you as prospective families an idea of the type of people that we have working at the school, the type of educators that we recruit. And this is really important to us because we believe that the quality education begins with quality educators. And we've got some fantastic teachers across our school, across the different sections. And this morning you'll get an opportunity to hear from them and learn a little bit more about their work in our school and how we provide a quality education for our students. Thanks very much for listening. I'm going to pass back to Mia now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hutchinson, for the brief overview about our school. Now perhaps we'll move on to our kindergarten and primary years program. Right now on site we have our senior teacher early learning and PYP, Miss Vanessa Ellison. How are you this morning, Miss Vanessa?
I'm great, thank you very
Doing
much,
great.
Mia.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And we also have Miss our Year 4 teacher and designated safeguarding lead. Good. How are you? Good morning, Miss Charlene. All right. Miss Vanessa, we would like to know more about ACG School Jakarta Kindergarten and Primary School. Can you share us some insight about our program?
Yeah, it would be my pleasure to do that. Firstly, I'd like to say a warm welcome to everybody at home that's tuning in. It's really great that you've taken the time to do this for us today, and I hope that the information that's shared today is informative for you. But of course, please do follow up with myself or Mia if you would like to find out more information at the end of this morning's presentation. I do have quite a bit of information to share with you. And before I do that, I'm going to start by handing over to our amazing kindergarten and youth superstars. So lead that way, please. so I hope you enjoyed that. That just gives you kind of an idea of the range, the wonderful range and breadth and depth of experiences that the students engage in every day, whether that's online or through their face-to-face schooling. Now, as you can see from the image on the screen, this kind of illustrates our true philosophy of early years, early learning childhood education. And as you can see, the student in the centre, that's truly what we believe, that through our student-centred approach to teaching and learning, that they are at the heart of everything that we do. They're central to all the decisions that we make regarding teaching and learning. We put great emphasis on our learning environments. We're really proud of the work that we do with our learning environments, and they're inspired by Reggio Emilia, which references the learning environments as the third teacher. So they're very, very important. So everything that we create, that we set up, that we offer our students is intentional, it's personalised, it's holistic, and it's very much tailored to their needs and interests and developmentally appropriate opportunities to develop across all stages of the curriculum. We believe that play is truly the best vehicle for learning, as this is the way that students do truly learn. It's something that is innate, and it's something that they will do across all of the subjects, so that is they will develop emotionally, socially, physically and cognitively. So high quality, playful learning experiences is how we deliver our high quality programme. We do believe parents are our partners, so right from the start, from the admissions process to transitioning into our school, we will develop those strong relationships with you by getting to know you, by starting with that first interview, meeting the team, coming to visit us in the kindergarten classroom, and really finding out as much as we can about your child. What are their interests? What are their passions? What do they like to do? Particular areas for development, their mother tongue. We want to find out everything about them so that we can best support them so that they're able to make maximum success. And then, of course, we also think about, how we, also then just how we work together as a team and making sure that we provide the best opportunities for our students. So in the PYP, we refer to our students in kindergarten in year 1 as early learners. So these are our 3 to 6-year-olds. And it's during these years that they are the most crucial years of their schooling, and they certainly set our students up for success in later life. And for someone who has spent most of her career working in early childhood, I certainly know that we have a great responsibility to make sure that we provide the absolute best high quality early childhood learning experiences for our students. And we do that in many ways. Firstly, as I said, we put the student at the heart of everything we do. We also focus very much on relationships, building those strong relationships with each other, with their peers, and of course with you at home, with our families. I often refer to our kindergarten parents as our family, our ACG family, because that's what you become over time. Parents, you are our partners, so we will constantly communicate with you about everything. And I will talk to you shortly about Seesaw, because that's one of the ways that we will communicate with you daily about events, about your child's learning, their progress, their achievements. So building and fostering those strong relationships is crucial to the success of their early childhood experience. As I've said, play, strong, intentional, purposeful, high-quality, playful learning experiences is absolutely central to the success of how we deliver our programme and our curriculum. And of course, our learning environment, as I've said. If you get the opportunity, please, we welcome you into our kindergarten and year 1 learning environment, where you will see just how we create the most amazing learning spaces. So we have a maths area with all of the maths manipulatives. It covers all strands of maths. So from shape, space, data handling, number, pattern, all of that will be evident in our learning areas. We have writing, small world, dramatic play, art, music. So our classroom, it isn't your traditional classroom. And maybe this is something that, you know, to think about as you consider best quality education for your child in early childhood, that actually it isn't about children sitting at a table, maybe a pencil and a paper and a workbook. We've moved on so far now to what is an absolutely wonderful learning space where the students are the drivers of their own learning. They bring so much of their skills, their knowledge, their expertise, their backgrounds into that learning. And then for us as educators, our role as an early childhood educator is crucial in being able to really support each and every one of our learners. And that is what we do in early childhood. The kindergarten curriculum, there's just a sample there of what we call our units of inquiry. And that's how we deliver our programme, through high quality learning units of inquiry. And in kindergarten, they follow 4 units of inquiry. And this is where they inquire into big picture thinking. They develop their conceptual understandings within what we call transdisciplinary themes. So there's some examples there. We have who we are, how we express ourselves, how we organise ourselves, and sharing the planet. Now, we don't have enough time for me to really talk about our units of inquiry and our curriculum, but if you go onto our ACG YouTube channel, you will find a very recent, last week, I delivered an early years PYP webinar to our wonderful kindergarten and year 1 families. So you will be able to access that and find out so much more about PYP, about the curriculum, and exactly how we deliver that curriculum in kindergarten in year 1. An important image to the left on this page are our learner profiles, and these are at the heart of everything we do. And we encourage our students to live these learner profile characteristics. So if you look, we have caring, principled, knowledgeable, open-minded, and we encourage our students to live these in what they say, in what they think, in how they act with others, and we really celebrate these as a school. So this starts in kindergarten, but runs all the way through the primary school. We celebrate through our monthly newsletters by awarding students a learner profile certificate of the month, and it's embedded in our whole curriculum and through our units of inquiry. So our kindergarten assessment is a process that involves observation. It involves us knowing our students really well. We document the students' learning in different ways. So as we assess our children, as we work with them, as we play with them, as we talk to them, we're constantly assessing them. We're recording what they say, what they think, and how they perform in different areas across the curriculum. We do that by taking photographs, we do that by taking samples of work, which we analyse as a team, and we look at the child's strengths. We look at what they are really good at, but also what we identify those next steps, because that's really important in making sure that our children, every single child in kindergarten and year 1, are able to achieve that personal success for them. And all students work at very different rates. So it's crucially important that we really know our students, and we know our students really, really well because we play with them, we sit with them, we sit on the floor, we talk to them, we interact with them. We don't see ourselves as teachers, but we actually see ourselves as co-constructors of learning. We research with them, we learn with them, and we support them and develop their ideas. And that goes back to an image earlier about agency. So we want to empower them. We want them to have that voice, that choice and ownership of their own learning. And so we create many opportunities in which they can do that. So as I touched upon earlier, we use a wonderful digital platform called Seesaw. And this gives you a daily insight into your child's learning. So when they're face-to-face in school, we will be recording, we will be evidencing all the wonderful things that we see and they experience. We as educators are in a privileged position where we can observe those wow moments, those moments when students make a connection, the moments when children can realize that when you add two groups together, it makes a number, or when they can read that first word, or when they can identify that letter on a card is A, that it makes the sound A. So as a team, we're constantly looking for those moments that children have made those connections. And then luckily for us, we have that platform, Seesaw, we can document that. And we document that and we share that with you. And we will reference the learning. So we will share a picture, but then we will demonstrate what that learning was. And then we will offer some next steps. So your child has done a brilliant job. They understand this particular phoneme, and now we're going to work on this. So Seesaw is a fantastic digital platform in which you can learn more about your child's learning and development and progress, but it's also a way that we will communicate with you. So moving on to the primary years program, this continues to be an inquiry-based curriculum model, and this focuses on those real-life problems, situations and decision-making. Students have the opportunity to solve problems, to be researchers, to be presenters, to take the lead in their own learning. They have the opportunity to think about big picture thinking and actually find out ways to find out more about a particular problem. They want to inquire into something that is a part of their unit of inquiry. As you can see from the image, there are 6 transdisciplinary themes, and they have 6 units of inquiry. And within those units of inquiry, students will participate in all 6 with the single subjects, such as maths, music, art, languages, and of course, the rigorous delivery of science, maths and English, and they will all be complemented through our inquiry-based program. So students will learn in a transdisciplinary way, which enables them to transfer their skills, knowledge and understanding across all subjects, which will bring that deeper learning and give them a deeper understanding of what they are learning each and every day. This image just gives you an idea of when we talk about inquiry-based learning, we're actually talking about the student taking ownership of that learning right from the start. So as educators, we know what they need to, we know what we need to teach, we know what we need to cover, because the curriculum guides us. We know what we need to teach and deliver. But how we do that, we work with the students. We follow an inquiry-based model like this. So we start with what the students know. We tune them in. What do you know and understand about this central idea? What do you want to find out? How can you find out? So we don't see our students as empty vessels that come to school and we fill them up with knowledge, but actually we work together. Students actively work together. We encourage collaboration. We encourage teamwork. We want them to find out for themselves. We want students to find out in different ways. That's where we know our students. We know how they learn, and all students learn in different ways. So you want to find out about light and sound. How are you going to do that? You might want to do that through written work, through reports, and another child might want to do that through using manipulatives, through experimentation, through science. So we cater for all of our learners through this inquiry cycle. We want to give students as many opportunities as they can to learn, but in different ways. And of course, as Sean said earlier, giving them those opportunities to be creative, to be problem solvers, and to really think creatively about what they are doing and how they are finding out, making connections. And most importantly, about that inquiry cycle, it's about taking action. And at ACG School Jakarta, we place great emphasis on what students take from their learning, and we reference that as action. how did they take action in their everyday lives? And we also celebrate this with our families. And we encourage our children, our students, to share with us how they've taken action as a part of their learning process. And touching on, building on what I said earlier about assessment in the early years, assessment is a crucial part of our teaching and learning. It informs what we do for our teaching and learning. And of course, assessment comes in the form of what we call formative assessments. So those daily assessments, those snapshots, those check-ins, we're constantly recording in different ways how a student is doing in all areas of our curriculum. And so those formative daily assessments. And then we have our summative assessments. And that's really important because that comes at the end of our units of inquiry. And that's where we will assess our students on their understanding of that unit of inquiry, on that central idea. And then they will be encouraged to demonstrate that knowledge in ways that they choose. So giving them that ownership, giving them the choice in which to share that learning and that understanding, and that can be done in many ways. Assessment is you are informed of assessments throughout the year in different ways. So that will come in the form of our parent-student-teacher conferences, which happen twice a year. And we also have our semester 1 and semester 2 written reports. And of course, we have Seesaw, our digital portfolio, which evidence all of the wonderful learning, progress and achievements that your child has experienced throughout the school year, and that is running across the school year. So as parents and caregivers, you will be very, very well informed of all of your child's achievements throughout the year, across all subjects and in different ways.
Right, so thank you, Ms. Vanessa, for sharing us the information about kindergarten and primary school. As in pandemic mode, can you tell us how you've seen ACG teachers has evolved during the pandemic, ensuring that the schools support students and families during their hybrid learning?
Yeah. I mean, of course, the last 18 months have been incredibly challenging, of course, but I think that something that I'm very proud of is the fact that teachers, the students and our community have shown such resilience and support for one another. So our faculty have continued to strive to deliver only the very best high quality teaching and learning experiences for our students, whether that is online or hybrid, virtual. We have continued to develop our technology skills. We ourselves have become so creative
Indeed.
in how we deliver. We have challenged ourselves to think differently about how we can deliver an exciting creative curriculum at home, where students, wherever they are in the world, can achieve success and they can still learn and develop as they would if they were in school. Our faculty have continued to reflect and develop and constantly support one another and develop their ability to improve what they do by sharing good practice and continuing to develop resources and strategies and ideas. And I think most importantly, reach out to our families knowing that we are there for them. We are there to support their child, not only on an academic level, but on a social and emotional level. So we have made sure that we reach out to our families. They know that we are there for them. Yeah. We're there for our students, and I'm really proud of the fact that, we have continued to get through this pandemic, and we are now at a point where our students are in school. They're in school 3 mornings a week, and it's an absolute joy, a privilege to have got to this point. Our students are smiling, they're happy. Yeah. It's wonderful to greet them when they come onto campus. It's amazing to see them being children, just the simple things of running around, and playing, talking to each other about things, having plans, and just being able to learn as well in different ways, access the wonderful campus that we do have, access the amazing learning areas that we have in our classroom, and just, you know, just really develop.
Yeah.
And just testament to the children that, you know, they have gone through so much, and yet there is a real strong sense of community as a result of this. And you know, I'm just looking forward to just building on all of our achievements. And as I always say to our ACG community, thank you for continuing to support us, and just be there for us, and thank you so much. They've been amazing.
Thank you very much. So moving on to, as per Ms. Vanessa's response, Ms. Charlene, can you help to expand your response about the hybrid learning, especially in the upper primary level?
Yes, certainly. I would like to also reiterate that the kids are so happy to be at school the 3 days a week that they're here. It's been, of course, a challenge having online learning, but we have supported our families through this. So, but this, having been here, has been exciting for them. They enjoy coming to school. They enjoy seeing their friends again. Of course, they're safe following our health protocol. They're able to use the resources that we have in campus. The teachers are here for them and can work with them individually. They can use our spaces. For example, in my classroom, for a unit of inquiry, our students are currently learning about the cardinal points in a compass, and they've been exploring the spaces around the school. Our Bahasa Indonesia classes have been learning about traditional Indonesian dance, and they've been using the dance studio in our school, and they've enjoyed that. And of course, the children at home who are currently not able to join us are still part of that community too. They are part of our learning. And when our students are at home, those 2 days a week that they're not on campus, we do support them, and our schedule supports that online learning by being mindful about how long they spend online. It is quite a concern. So we are always mindful for that. Teacher assistance if they need to, so we are available for that. The highlight this week, of course, I thought I'd just share it with you, is that we, as a community, supported the anti-bullying campaign, and so we had an odd sock day, and it was really lovely to see all the children and all the teachers getting involved and wearing odd socks, creative with it. So that activity was fun for all of us.
Very joyful. Thank you, Ms. Charlene. Next up, I'm going to move on and say hi to our two prefects, also year 12 students who have been with us since their primary years at ACG School Jakarta. Are you there, Lydia and Anirudh?
Hello.
Hi. Hi, Lydia. Nice to see you this morning. So Lydia and Anirudh, perhaps we'll start with Lydia. Can you share with us how ACG primary education has prepared for your middle and high school, and also some of your most memorable experience during your schooling at ACG School Jakarta?
Yes, I'll be glad to answer that. So I've been in ACG for about 11 years, and I've learned a lot during my time here. Primary education did play a significant role in developing my current leadership abilities, because in primary school, students are encouraged to speak out and express their opinions during class, which I think greatly boosts our self-esteem. Not only that, but we also have a variety of ways to study, and the most memorable ones for me were the assemblies, exhibitions, and the camps we had in primary school. Students were able to demonstrate their expertise through presentations and performances at these assemblies and exhibitions. And personally, I enjoyed doing these things because not only did we get to share our knowledge with others, but it was also a really simple and effective way for me to learn new topics in class. And it helped me remember a lot of things too. The camps were also very beneficial for the students to learn new things through exploring, looking at the outside world, and getting out of their comfort zones. and these influences boosted my enthusiasm to enjoy learning, and as a result, I no longer regard learning as a burden or a forced activity in secondary and middle school.
Thank you, Lydia. Now, Anirudh, how about you, Anirudh? So how do you think ACG primary education has prepared you for middle and high school, and also sharing your memorable experience during your schooling at ACG? I think this is the Zoom viewer. You need to unmute yourself.
See if we can get Anirudh. You there, Anirudh? Can we get some action from you? Yep, go for it.
Thank you, Ms. Niang, for your question. Throughout my long time at ACG School Jakarta, I have met many students and teachers who have contributed greatly to my success, both academically and in my extracurriculars. In particular, my IB/PYP education in primary has enabled me to understand how the world works and how to be a better citizen of the world, as well as how learning is so important through the many units of inquiry. The various learner attributes that my primary education has incorporated in me have boosted my confidence and learning ability once I entered my secondary phase of education. While I was in primary, I remember attending assemblies and exhibitions and camp trips with my classmates. These were all very fun and enjoyable experiences that I still cherish to this day. In my middle school and high school years, I became more engaged in my science lessons and mathematics lessons in particular, as I'm quite interested in STEM subjects. However, without the foundational knowledge gained through primary schooling at ACG, I do not think that interest would have been sparked. Primary education has also instilled in me the core values of being an ACG student, which are excellence, partnerships, integrity, and compassion. The teachers in my primary years were very kind and approachable people who always made time to assist me in my education. I do not think that I would be in the place that I am today without my primary education.
Thank you, Anirudh and Lydia. So I think we still have some time for a bit of a Q&A, some questions that we have collected from our parents who happen to be coming from all over the world this morning. Perhaps, Mr. Hutchinson, one question that is mostly raised by our families who's coming in from different countries is that how does enrollment process works at ACG, and is it difficult or is it a very simple process?
Yeah, it is a common question that's asked me, and we really try and align ourselves with our values and our direction as a school. We want to build strong partnerships with families. So the beginning of your journey with ACG School Jakarta is the admissions process, and we want to make sure that that process is an enjoyable experience and one that's not confusing where you're having to jump through a series of hoops. But with your support as leading our admissions team, and of course the academic leaders that will meet the families and interview students and families, we want to make sure that we are learning as much as we possibly can about the students that are going to join our school so that we can best support them. So in terms of the admissions process, we want a complete application form, of course. We want academic records, report cards that provide us with some background information about the child's education. And we want to then engage in a really meaningful conversation. We do call it an interview, but it is a conversation. I know that you yourself, Mia, and Vanessa and myself, we all run interviews or conversations with prospective families all the time. We want to make sure that we gather as much information as we can so that we can then make the appropriate decisions and set the children up for success. One of the things about having the conversations with families and learning about each child is to make sure that that transition to our school is supportive, caring, and where the child feels welcome and a sense of belonging in our school. So So we think that our admissions process is a relatively painless experience, one where you will be warmly welcomed, whether it's the initial contact by email or telephone, or whether it's coming into school and having a tour. That's really the best opportunity to experience what it is that we have to offer, meeting leaders, students, and support staff, and we'll all make you feel very, very welcome and make you make that positive decision to be a part of our family.
Thank you, Mr. Hutchinson. And perhaps a little bit of a question about safeguarding at our school, Ms. Charlene. As the designated safeguarding lead at ACG School Jakarta, how do we actually ensure safeguarding in our school?
Well, we have policies and procedures in place to deal with any safeguarding issues, and staff are trained to identify any safeguarding concerns. We also have a counselor on site as well for our students, and we support initiatives to raise awareness, such as the anti-bullying campaign that we did recently to raise awareness on being respectful to each other and using kind words.
Thank you, Ms. Charlene. And perhaps I'll have a little bit of overview for our Indonesian families who's probably here too and considering enrollment at ACG School Jakarta, but not sure about transition from Indonesian school to ACG School Jakarta. So perhaps I'm gonna say, rest assured, we definitely support families who are not native English speaker at ACG. We have Indonesian students coming in from kindergarten all the way to middle and high school, and they're doing all right. They're doing okay, and we have graduates that also goes to different countries. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an important point, Mia. Particularly for Indonesian families or families coming from national systems outside of Indonesia. Often it's a very daunting experience to venture to that next step of international schooling. But we want to make sure that those families, if they're not experienced in engaging with an English-speaking environment, we do have support for families, and we will do our best to try and guide them through the process, but also support them through their journey. And so we have English language support, we have special education support, but I think most importantly we have people on our faculty and our staff and our students who are very welcoming of diversity. We're an incredibly sensitive and welcoming community, so it doesn't matter your background or your experiences. You might be a young student coming to our school with almost zero English, but we'll do what we can to try and support you. And often, we see lots of success stories, wonderful progression in not only English language development, but engaging in the real learning experience. So it's not just about language development, it's about how we help young people become better, stronger learners. So there is support here, and I think our small family-friendly atmosphere really goes a long way to ensuring that transition is a smooth one.
Thank you, Mr. Hutchinson. So thank you very much for Mr. Hutchinson, Ms. Vanessa, Ms. Charlene, Anirudh, and Lydia to join us this morning. So as I mentioned earlier, your questions, any questions that we have not answered, we will basically get back to you after the event. I will personally reach out to you and invite you for, of course, a personalized school tour of our campus. That is definitely the best way to get to know us, experiencing it yourself, getting to the kindergarten classrooms, and basically see how good our facilities are and how welcoming our community. So as we've gone through information about kindergarten and primary school, now it's time for more fun, getting to know about middle and high school program at ACG School Jakarta. And joining with us, we have a group of team leaders from middle and high school. So far away but closest at heart, our esteemed Vice Principal, Mr. Richard Todd. Are you there?
I am definitely here. Hi, Mia. How are you
Yes. Hello, Mr. Richard. And next to me, our lovely Miss Joanne Dickinson, team leader for languages, English language support, and special educational needs. How are you this morning, Miss Joanne?
Very well, thank you, Ms.
Thank
Mia.
you. And Mr. Mark Ellison, our team leader for arts and design technology teacher. How are you? Okay, good stuff. So, and Mr. Abraham Davis, our, hang on, I need to say Jumbo, Mr. Abraham Davis. Jumbo. Mr. Davis is our team leader for science and also chemistry teacher. Thanks for being with us this morning. And last but not least, Miss Annie Pickering, team leader for mathematics in middle and high school. How are you?
I'm good, thanks,
All
Mia.
right. As well as our student leaders who joined us this morning that will be answering some questions from myself. We have Anbu, as well as Kiara, Rebecca, and Rahim, who are currently in our year 12 and year 13. So we'll be connected to them later on. All right. First question I will ask Miss Joanne. I'm curious about ELS and SEN, English Language Support and Special Educational Needs Program. Can you explain to us how we actually support our ELS and SEN students in the classroom?
Right, thank you, Mia. So overall, we are an inclusive school, which means that we believe that all children belong and that all children learn in different ways. So obviously we need to provide those kinds of support inside the classroom. So the support that we provide is given to students, like you said, who may require English language support or have special educational needs or are gifted and talented. So if we're thinking about English language support, we provide support from years 2 all the way through to year 9, and that support is provided either through in-class support or pull-out support. So we have 4 dedicated specialist teachers who will work with the children with support of the classroom teacher or the subject teacher to ensure that skills in reading, writing, speaking and listening are developed. And as Mr. Hutchinson said, we are able to take children with relatively 0 English. So depending on your needs, that will depend on the type of support you will receive. So the overall aim of the program is to develop the skills in English so that the children are able to interact independently in the classroom. Now, thinking about special educational needs, children who have special educational needs have what's called an educational adjusted program. Now, that program is written specifically for that child, and a child who has an educational program can have different modifications to their program. So that may be modifications or accommodations inside the classroom to ensure that the child can work towards their educational goals. We also have a full-time student school counsellor that is able to support our children either through families also through individual support or small group support. So overall, being an inclusive school is that we feel that all children should learn together, they should grow together, they should play together, and that's the essence of the school. And as Mr. Hutchinson said, we're a fairly small school community, so we can give lots of support both inside and outside the classroom.
Perfect. And while we're at it, probably, Ms. Joanne, can you inform us language options that we have at ACG School Jakarta? We do offer a various kind of language.
We do, Miss Mia. In year 7 to 9, we offer, as a second language, we offer Bahasa Indonesia, Indonesia as a foreign language, and also Chinese Mandarin.
Yep.
And when the students go into secondary school, so they go into the IGCSE program, we have the same options available. So Indonesian, Indonesian foreign language, and Chinese Mandarin. However, where in the IBDP program, we offer Indonesian, we also offer French, ab initio, but we also have a self-study. If a student, for example, would like to take Korean or would like to take Japanese, we also offer that option. So there's a range of options that are available.
Awesome. Thank you for the explanation, Ms. Joanne. I'm going to ask one of our prefect, Malik Tenhave, our year 12 student, so first year of IBDP, who is also one of the prefects. Malik, are you there?
Yes, hello, I am here.
Oh, hello Malik, good morning. So Malik, may I ask you, what were your highlights from school events outside the classroom before the pandemic, of course?
So before the pandemic, the main highlights from school events outside the classroom were probably the sports days and swim carnivals, because they were extremely entertaining and fun for everyone. Both of these events were sports events where we didn't have classes for a day and instead competed and did sports with one another, which created close bonds and great friendships and just very much helped our tight-knit community. These events were organized by the student council as well as the house captains. And the second highlight for me was the movie night that we had. So this was also organized by the student council, and the movie night is where the students could come to school after school hours to watch a movie together. This was supervised by the student council as well as teachers. This was very good for student relationships within the school, and was a great tool to establish a close community within ACG School Jakarta. And I really hope that we will be able to have these type of events very soon.
Perfect. Thank you, Malik, and thank you for joining us today. I know that the secondary, middle and high school actually having exam next week, so thanks for joining with us this morning. Now, I'm a bit nervous about my next question. I'm going to ask Miss Annie, who is the mathematics team leader. So Miss Annie, if I'm talking about mathematics, it makes me nervous, but how do we actually deliver mathematics in ACG? I heard it's a lot of fun instead of.
Thanks, Mia. Yes, it is a lot of fun in the maths department and in the maths classrooms. We really promote students to be able to enjoy the subject by many different activities and learning experiences that they can use in the classroom. So, for example, we will use group activities, we will use peer activities, online tasks. There's a lot of discussion and debate. Students learn from each other, they critique each other, but they do it in a really positive and nurturing environment where we foster the fact that, you know, mistakes are real learning opportunities, and we can't learn if we don't make mistakes. So
yes,
we nurture that. They see us teachers make mistakes, and it's okay. But we move on, and how do we go to the next level? So yeah, it's a great department. And some of the other things we do to support the students, Mia, we give really good feedback in the department. I have to say this, before the pandemic it was a lot of verbal feedback, but since the pandemic we've given a lot of written feedback to the students, and parents are able to view that as well. And the students gain a lot from this. We also give feedback with our summative assessments. It's really detailed, it breaks down what the students understand from that summative and what they need to continue working on, and I think they find that extremely helpful. Apart from that, we have a support person in our middle school, and he is or she are able to help us with some of our SEN students and our English second language students, and also a few students that really just find maths a little bit beyond them at times, and they just need that more nurturing, slower chance to grasp some of the ideas. So that's really great to have that available to them. Our curriculums, I really like our curriculums. The Cambridge curriculum and the IB curriculum that take us through the middle years and into the high school have allowed us to write excellent schemes of learning and units and have diverse activities in those units. And of course cater for students coming into the school. It doesn't matter what level they come in at, we know that we're going to be able to target them and help them with their learning in terms of all the different topics that they might have come across or not come across before. It's more of what we call a cyclic learning process, and I think that reassures a lot of our students that they will get opportunities to keep revisiting that. So yeah, we have a lot of fun. And I really appreciate also that I learn a lot from my students at the same time as they're learning a lot from me.
Right. And I also remember before the pandemic, that's just to prove how fun the program it is. We do have a Mathematica Club during lunchtime.
Yeah. The Mathematica Club was a great opportunity for our senior students to support some of our younger students. They would offer their time at break times, and some of our younger students would come in and they would just appreciate working with our seniors and that one-on-one support with them. And I really enjoyed seeing that happen as well.
Yeah, it's really nice for me to see it as well. So thank you, Miss Annie, for the description. I do wish I was your student when I was younger.
Me too.
It sounds fun. All right, so thank you. We're gonna move to our next student leader. Now, who do we have? Kiara? Kiara is back with us now. So Kiara, our year 12 student. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I apologize for the technical difficulties.
No worries, it happens. All right, so Kiara, you've been with ACG School Jakarta since primary school. So can you tell us your memorable experience at ACG School Jakarta?
So yes, this is my 5th year at ACG School Jakarta. And this year is special because I am one of 4 student council prefects. I've been inspired by my sister, a graduate of class of 2019, now a university student in London. Here at ACG was a head girl. My most memorable moment would probably be family fun day / carnival, where me and my peers and their family members took part in numerous games, collaborated, and shared great moments under the sun. I would also say that a majority of my most memorable moments at this school would be everyday classes. My special teaching approaches, socializing with my classmates, and more has given me wholesome anecdotes to last a lifetime. During the pandemic, my most memorable moment would be the recently held Student Council hosted Halloween movie night. Me and my classmates watched a spooky movie and we enjoyed it by the comfort of our own homes. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiara, for your lovely answer. Next up, I'm going to move along to Mr. Abraham Davis, our team leader for science / chemistry teacher.
Thanks, ma'am.
Yes, so Mr. Davis, can you explain to us what are the sciences delivered at ACG School Jakarta and why science subject is so important?
Thank you. I will start with the first question, Ms. Mia, about why science is important and vital for our children. Looking at our societies, in our modern societies, we are surrounded by technologies and products of science, and science education helps us, our children, to understand what goes around our societies, right, and be able to understand how and why things happen the way they do. This is one important, goal from science education. Through science education, we are also able to understand, get new technologies. We are able to make informed decisions and be able to come up with solutions for practical problems and global problems like the current pandemic that we are dealing with. So science education is really crucial for our children. So our focus as science department at ACG International School is to ensure that our learners are learning, they are engaging they are collaborating, and they are developing vital skills like problem-solving skills, like critical thinking skills that are actually going to help them in their future. In terms of the kind of programs that we have at ACG for science, for middle school, we have general science. This is an integrated course that runs for 3 years, that is year 7, 8, and 9. And this course has 4 strands. We have biology, chemistry, and physics, and we also have scientific investigations that are embedded into those disciplines. Then from here, the students proceed to IGCSE, which happens in year 10 and year 11. And in this program, students usually draw from their general experience in middle school, and they sit for their IGCSE examinations at the end of year 11. And this course as well is an integrated course that combines the 3 disciplines, biology, chemistry, and physics. The qualification students get from this level allows them to proceed to the Ibdp level, and they can be able to select whether standard level or higher level, biology, chemistry, and physics as well. So that is our structure of sciences at SCG International School.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Davis. I personally see myself how Mr. Davis and his team with science, they do a lot of experiments. So we do also support our students like with science experiments. We send out what do you call it? Experiments, equipments. So that's, I mean, we go all out on that and making sure that they're not missing anything out from their science experience and subjects, yeah?
Yes, we continue to support our families during this period. We continue to supply the kind of equipments or apparatus that they cannot be able to find at home.
Right.
We also encourage our students to do some simple experiments at home, which are safe and when they're monitored at home. But we also have virtual interactive activities that we have for our students so that we can continue the fun that is usually there in science.
Yes, that's very important. Thank you, Mr. Davis. I'm going to say hi to another student leader. Ann, are you there? Year 13, Ann Wu, who is our co-head girl. I have a question for you. Hi, good morning. Oh, are you on mute? Oh, okay. All right, so I may need you to speak louder a little bit so that our audience can hear you clearly. So Anne, so my question is, from your experience, how does ACG School Jakarta provide you opportunities to be a student leader?
ACG very much encourages students to participate in student-led activities inside and outside of school. Our school provides many opportunities such as the Student Council, House Teams, Eco Warriors, sports, and many more extracurriculars. Aside from internal activities, the school also provides information on external activities such as the Inspire Leadership Committee and other international competitions. In the classroom, students are very engaged in discussions as the teachers encourage us to gain knowledge from the different perspectives of our classmates. The school makes sure there is a wide variety of leadership options for the students to choose from so that all the students have a chance to engage with members of the ACG community and to also hone their leadership skills.
Thank you, Ann. Next up, I'm going to ask our team leader for arts and design technology teacher, Mr. Ellison. How are you this morning?
I'm good, Ms. B.
Doing all right. Good. Thank you. Thank you. So, Mr. Ellison, tell us how do the school help students develop creative, innovative, and problem-solving skills?
Right, that's a great question. And with regards to creativity, this is something we could talk about all day, and we don't have all day, so I will begin to proceed. But before I do, can I just say, if you're at home and you're wondering why there's so many people sporting silver beards, it's because we're actually sporting. So I just want to put that out there, just in case. Just Mr. Sean's giving a fist pump there. All right. So the question on creativity. Well, the mantra that we have in design technology, by the great man himself, imagination will get you everywhere. okay? And at ACG, we really want students, we provide them with every opportunity for authentic learning experiences, okay? We want to be able to allow them to foster creativity in its entirety by thinking critically, applying that divergent thinking to the tasks at hand, okay? And we do that by allowing the students to actually, as Miss Annie mentioned before, make mistakes if necessary, because that's how we grow. That's we want them to be able to learn and progress from these mistakes so that they can go further. I mean, you may notice that as young children, students, they don't have any fear, right?
No.
As we get older,
Fearless.
that seems to disappear. So, you know, we do tend to ask ourselves, why is that happening in schools? Why are we, you know, not allowing students to experiment, make mistakes, learn from those mistakes? Because it does tend to get pushed out of us as we get older. So we believe that allowing students to be critical thinkers, collaborate, share, discuss, will enable them to become lifelong learners. That'll be with them when they leave ACG school.
Right, thank you. And actually, where we are right now, this is actually your home.
This is my home.
So this is the new DT area that we have as part of the second floor arts area.
It is.
Yeah.
And what's really nice about this space, it is an area where collaboration can happen in its entirety. So just we can talk about our units that we worked on last year, where we were able to work with the arts, music, okay? And we were able to create units that were really forward thinking during a pandemic, may I add, where we were challenged, but the students were acquiring so many great skills and being able to use the technology and the software programs. They were surprising me. So, I mean, that's what we want to be able to encourage. We want students to be able to think outside the box. Okay, like I said, you know, think divergently. Think about how can they solve problems, because these are the skills, the 21st century skills that they will need moving forward. Last year we did have an integrated unit, and it was a teacher-creature unit actually, and it was a first for us in the department actually, where the students were able to really explore cultures, and within those cultures they were able to come up with really fanciful, great ideas, topical ideas, and create a product and something that, you know, you could actually go in and see virtually and experience it, and it was a great experience, something that I was very, very proud of. I'm proud to be a part of. So this year we're pushing the boat out again, this time working with the sciences, and Mr. Davis here, for an integrated unit where students will be looking at form versus function. So it's an age-old question, all right? And they'll be investigating, finding out in the sciences, learning about Newton's law, how they can apply that to their design and create really saleable products that we can all share towards the end of the year. So something that I'm really looking forward to be able to see.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Ellison. And I need to put out a note that I actually really enjoy your virtual art exhibition. It was a breakthrough. So yeah, so it's very helpful during pandemic. Yeah.
I think the kids really enjoyed it also. The feedback that we received was amazing, which has obviously spurned on more integrated units, because it's something that students really felt that they enjoyed.
Indeed. Indeed. All right. Thank you, Mr. Ellison. Next up, I'm going to reach out to Rebecca Balonescu, our year 13 student and our co-head girl. Are you there, Rebecca?
Yeah, hello.
All right. Good morning, dear. Rebecca, can you tell us how the school helps students to prepare for their life beyond the diploma program that you're doing right now?
Thank you. So, as we all know, life beyond the Ibdp can seem quite stressful, especially if one may not always be entirely certain about their future and about their university. And ACG has helped me a lot and countless others in preparation for education and life beyond the Ibdp program.
As a Year 13 IBDP student, I undertake the CAS program in the IBDP curriculum, which allows me to pursue my hobbies, interests, and services, which lets me reflect on them regularly of how I'm developing as a human being and how I can improve in the future. Another way is through the leadership program, helping us become better learners and thrive in the real world. This includes opportunities such as being the part of the student council, which I was last year and this year, MEWEN, Inspire Global Students Leadership Committees, House Team Captains, as well as having freedom to organize an event. For instance, recently last week, my fellow colleagues and I organized a chess competition. Throughout this, I learned about the importance of communication, organization, planning, and collaboration, which are vital beyond IBDP. Such qualities help me with my time management skills as IB is very demanding, encouraging self-organization and motivation. As well, ACG helps students find relief from such stress by assisting us with uni preparations when deciding our possible career choices throughout the IBDP and university choices. An example of this is the DP retreat at the beginning of the academic year, in which students got an extensive presentation from a college counselor clearly outlining all factors that contribute in choosing an appropriate university that is tailored to each individual student's needs. Throughout the year, we were provided with webinars, different university presentations, and important researches, such as Unifrog, which helps students with university application and research. Furthermore, ACG allows a student to develop their own identities by painting the road to what the future holds. Teachers and guidance counselors have been wonderful as their guidance and instructions help us whenever we feel overwhelmed, underprepared, or stressed, enabling us to achieve better grades and understanding subjects at a greater depth. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. I do note that Rebecca is also one of the student leaders that is involved in our chess tournaments event this week. So congratulations for the successful event. That's our very first chess tournaments at ACG School Jakarta, and Rebecca is part of the organizer as well. Next up, I'm going to say hi to our esteemed Vice Principal, Mr. Todd. Are you there? Good morning. What time?
Salamat pagi, or is it salamat siang now?
Yeah, pagi almost siang, in the middle. All right. Thank you, Mr. Todd. Can you tell us more about IBDP program at ACG School Jakarta?
I can, and I would love to, so I will. But before I start, I've got to say Jambo, Mr. Davis, because Miss Mia unfortunately forgot to say Jambo. I was really waiting for that. You know, say it now, Miss Mia.
Jambo.
Jambo, Mr. Davis. Okay, yeah. So the 2-year IB diploma program offers year 12 and 13. An opportunity to study world-renowned courses that are preparation for university. They come in higher level and standard level format. You make your own selections, and it gives students a perfect grounding for university study. It's tough, as several students have talked about, but working together, it's very doable. It's at the higher end of what students are capable of, but that's why it's such a great grounding for your university experience. So the program itself is very much centered on addressing the development of the whole person, and the way that we do this, there's a couple of ways. One is in the structure, the design of the IB diploma. So they link all of the areas of study through the core components. So that's the extended essay, which is what it sounds like, theory of knowledge, which is a little bit like a philosophy 101 course, and of course the CAS program, that's creativity, action and service. That's the non-academic element of the program. That all three of those core elements, you have to pass them in order to get the diploma. Mrs. Dickinson earlier talked about the EAPs, and these also play a part in the DP program. If a student needs a little bit of extra time for exams, for example, that's one of the ways that the IB has built in an understanding that we all learn a little bit differently, and everybody has different needs. So EAPs play a role in that. When it comes to exam time, if you're eligible, we can make applications for a little bit of extra time. Now, of course, we do approach all of our subjects as far as we can through the lenses of problem solving, creativity, and entrepreneurial use of technology, and also by encouraging students to view learning at a personal level, as well as understanding multiple viewpoints. What the DP does is it helps students to make connections between academic learning, non-academic learning, and their real-world experiences. So I think that really on exiting the DP program, that's probably that's the icing on the cake, if you like. You've started to make those real-world connections. Starts with the PYP at the beginning of school and ends in year 13 with the DP program. Yep, you're pretty much set with an inquiring mind where you're willing to take on challenges. So, yeah, it's my favourite high school program of all of the ones that I've looked at.
All right, and Mr. Todd, how do we actually help our students prepare for their university application and entry?
Well, I'm very glad you asked me that, because very recently I ran a Parents as Learners session on Unifrog, which I'll talk about in a moment. But as well as using platforms like Unifrog in school, what we do is we have conversations, individual conversations at year 9 with students to talk about their choices for years 10 and 11. And as well, in year 11, we have individual meetings where we talk about the choices for year 12. So we're really very much looking at the high school experience as a 4-year experience. Again, making that link between what we're doing now in school and what is possible to happen after the school experience. So Unifrog, it's a wonderful platform, actually, amazing in its depth and its breadth. It's a bit like an iceberg. You see a little bit at the top, but really all of the good stuff is working underneath. So what it is, it's an online platform. It's got a huge amount of information in its database about worldwide universities. But the way it starts for students in secondary school who use it in years 7 and 8, you do some personality tests and you find out about yourself, what your talents, your strengths and your skills are, and where they might point you in terms of either further study or work, or further study and then work. So again, as many platforms and as many techniques as we can to help students understand that school is not a separate, isolated life event. It's a place whereby we use platforms and techniques, pedagogical approaches to help you become the best version of you throughout school and then beyond. So if you do go to our YouTube channel, you can see a lot of the Parents as Learners sessions, but the most recent ones that we did on Unifrog, and also a walkthrough for ManageBack as well, which is I suppose it's the equivalent for secondary school to what Miss Ellison was talking about with Seesaw in primary.
Thank you, Mr. Todd. One more question from me, because I do notice as we go through the information about PYP up until the middle and high school, the question is, why different curriculum, like PYP and then Cambridge and then IB at the end? Is it regular, or is it normal to have that?
So, in my experience, all of the international schools across the world have different reasons for picking the different components. So the IB, the International Baccalaureate, does offer three, more than three actually, but in terms of the length of the school life cycle, your school career, PYP, and then there's the MYP in the middle, and then there's the diploma with 2 years at the end. A lot of schools do not choose to run the MYP for various reasons, and what they put in the middle is the lower secondary Cambridge and then the IGCSEs for 10 and 11. And I know the exact reason why they do that, because Cambridge courses and then 10 and 11 IGCSE examinations, which is also from Cambridge, what they do is they prepare you very rigorously in terms of content, in terms of skills, in terms of processes for the IB diploma. And I'm not going to make any comments about the MYP and say that that's not that it doesn't do that, but this is the reason why people choose to put Cambridge in the middle, because they feel it's more rigorous in an academic sense.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Todd, for your share. Next up, I'm gonna ask for Rahim. Are you there, Rahim?
Yes, hello, Miss Mia. I'm here.
Good morning, Rahim. Rahim, can you share with us your thoughts on working with other student leaders to introduce initiative?
Sure, I think I've had great experiences working with other student leaders, such as the fellow co-head girls, Anna and Rebecca, as well as the primary and secondary student council members to introduce new events and initiatives. Last year, in my time as a prefect, I worked with the student councils to hold the first ever whole esports competition. And we even collaborated with an outside organization to promote esports at ACG School Jakarta, which we're now planning on implementing physically in the school as well this year. Just recently, we even had the ACG School Jakarta chess competition, which I think was a great experience to participate and watching that. And so far as a head student, I've worked with the student council and prefects on delivering the events such as the Halloween, which was a Halloween themed event, and I had the great time of experiencing and hosting one of the movies in the movie night on Friday. Also, as part of the school's Green Space initiative, I'm working with the Eco Warriors and other participants to assist the school in a land clearing event that the school is holding next Saturday. And I look forward to working with the other members and just to experience how we physically can work together to support the school in this new project that we have.
Perfect. Thank you, Rahim, for the brief explanation. I want to go back to Mr. Todd. I do have some question about clubs and activities that the students can get involved in our school. I do notice we do have some interesting activities initiated by our senior students.
I would agree. I call the number and the range of school activities mind-boggling, to be honest with you. But there are three particular ones that I'm involved with directly. These are essentially student-initiated and student-led activities, and they are becoming more so, and my input becomes less and less, much more from an overseeing kind of perspective. So the assembly team, so last year the assembly team this year the assembly team is led by our head boy and co-head girls. They're responsible each month for planning the online assemblies, and they've got to make sure that all the sections of the school are represented in an entertaining and informative way. They write to people, they get a rolling program of regular events, they time it, they do linking videos, they do credits, and they make sure that it all happens on time, all on top of their usual studies as well. It's a really, really good organizational and intra relationships and communication skills experience, and they do that every month. So yeah, making presentations that come together in a 30-minute live, recorded and then broadcast live on YouTube every month. It's an amazing thing to do. Now, some of those people involved in the assembly team are also in the yearbook team. We're in our second year of student-led yearbooks. I think we're going to be digital again this year because we love the planet. We don't want to kill it, right? So we don't want to use paper and ink where we don't need to. So I think you can imagine the amount of work and the different range of skills and processes involved in getting a whole school and a year of time into a digital book. I can't do justice to the range of the things that these kids need to do. But it worked fine last year. It's going to work fine this year. And then finally, we got Radio Wolf, and I think this is definitely in the watch this space category. But it's essentially it's a radio station where the responsibility of the students is to research and to publish stories, interviews, and events of all of the aspects of school life. Really, it's not about academics necessarily. It could be if the students decide that they want a program relating to academics, but it's a magazine kind of approach, so they learn broadcasting skills. We've got a Roadcaster Pro that they have to learn, and again, similar to the assembly team, they have to compile information into broadcastable programs. So all of these things, very entrepreneurial, very student-centered in terms of management and communication. That for me is probably one of the aspects of school life that sets a school apart from schools where those things do not happen.
Thank you, Mr. Todd. It's always exciting to see how our kids actually come up with ideas and implement it and have new activities being initiated. Now, I do remember we hope to see a little bit of progress with our hybrid learning, and hopefully in the next semester we would be able to offer some activities. I do notice, Mr. Allison, you're looking to offer some very exciting activities for next term.
In terms of the units?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So this is. Hi again. So I did touch on it briefly. This is the unit that both Mr. Davis and myself have been working on to provide students the opportunity to take part in a real live and a real world event, actually, where they investigate and are actually able to create a model race car to be raced during an event towards the end of the year. Like I said previously, they'll be learning about sciences, it'll incorporate design, but it will also incorporate music, technology. We do actually have a dance outfit.
Ooh,
yeah,
nice.
Video, and the idea is to be able to, breathe life into these experiences for the students to be able to become entrepreneurial and display a quality of work that is a really high level, but again, going through those experiences to really demonstrate their critical ability, critical thinking skills and collaborations. And so, Mr. Davis, we have been working to provide a program already. It's been launched. The students are very excited. I'm continuing getting messages from the students. They won't leave me alone. Late at night, they're sending me messages. Sir, can I have some feedback on this piece of work? Tell them to go to bed. We've got plenty of time to be able to do that. So it's really encouraging. It's something that we're really looking forward to be able to promote towards the end of this year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And Ms. Mia, just to mention probably, that tells you how much we support interdisciplinary approach in our school, working with colleagues to start different kinds of projects that benefit students.
Indeed, indeed. And even today, this is a collaboration that we're doing at the moment. We're doing live, different format than our previous open day or coffee morning.
It is a very different format.
It's interesting, yeah. So, right, I have one question for Ms. Annie, because Ms. Annie, you also support the Student Council at ACG School Jakarta. What actually is the activities by the Student Council at ACG?
So the Student Council is, as Mr. Todd's already said, completely student-led. our Year 12 prefects are elected as prefect, and they come in and they lead the student council. And the Year 13s support them in this leadership role, particularly in the first term of their leadership. And then we have students representing all the other classes and are on the student council. They've been voted in and they participate in really active roles in the student council. So they try and come up with different student initiatives, at least one per term, and it's already been mentioned about Halloween week, which they organise themselves. I'm constantly amazed at the detail that they put into their proposals, because they have to write a proposal to our principal, Mr. Hutchinson, and he has to approve it. And it's like a document that someone in business would write. It's very thorough. They look at lots and lots of different options. And these ideas that they present have been well thought out, because they talk about it in the student council, and they look at everybody's options, and then they go ahead and once it's approved, and they actually carry it out. And within the student council they have different teams, so there's a communications team, a design team, and a couple of other teams, and they have people in the teams and they utilise their skills within the teams at all the levels, right down to year 7, and they're just able to carry out some really interesting tasks. Last year in particular, I just want to mention one that they took on themselves. It was their idea. It was, I guess, in the earlier months of the pandemic, and students were noticing how they themselves and their friends around them were really struggling with online learning, really struggling with being in their homes and what's going on with their families, and they decided and initiated a mental health awareness week, particularly on dealing with the issues of the pandemic. They prepared all the materials, researched it all, they delivered it, even down to a year 7 students delivering this in their advisory classes. I was blown away, and I do believe the rest of the staff were blown away with the standard of this particular event, and the fact that they were really reaching out and addressing the needs of the students, and probably going into the family homes as well, supporting what's going on there and at school. So that's an example. It's not all about fun, it's all about them trying to meet the needs of the student body, whatever that might be, whatever year that is. And I have the privilege of overseeing that.
Indeed, and also it's an example how, as a close-knit community, it's really amazing to see the kids from primary level to secondary level work together, and the interaction between them is very nice. Yeah, and also
Yes.
the class activities, we also have buddy classes, so younger children would have interaction with older students during their study. Thank you for Miss Annie for the answer. Miss Joanne, I just want to ask you a question. In the primary school, we have a homeroom teacher who will be with their students most of the days and taking care of the students' well-being. In the secondary level, middle and high school, we have advisor. Can you tell us some information about advisor system?
Okay, I think that this is a wonderful initiative that we have at ACG School Jakarta, and it really sets us apart. So we have a system whereby each child is assigned to an advisory group. So, for example, I am an advisor for Year 7 group of students, so I have 5 students who are my advisees, and I meet with them every day, and I'm responsible for their not only academic development, but their social development and their emotional development, just ensuring that their transition from year 6 to 7 is smooth and that they are comfortable. So in respect of year 7, I suppose I become their mum in year 7. However, when you get into the upper years, you know, so Miss Pickering and also these gentlemen to my left, they are also advisors. It's a whole different situation. So the needs are different when they become 16 and 17 to when you're 11 or 12. So the advisory role is unique to the school. It's a really fantastic initiative, and we're the first point of call to parents if, you know, things are going on at home that we need to know about, or if things are going on in school that they need to know about. So it's a very nurturing role in the school. It's a fantastic program.
Yeah, and I also see a smooth transition, especially for our year 6 students who are primary students, finishing their IB PYP curriculum. They then move to the middle school.
Yeah.
It's a whole different routine, and we made sure that we support them with transition period. And introduce them to, of course, technologies, because we're very high on technologies in middle and high school. The kids have their own device every day.
That's
and
right.
They would be moving classes that would require a lot of independency and also showcasing time management. So it's really interesting to see how they progress from primary school to middle and high school.
Yeah, we do have a transition program from year 6 to year 7. So as Miss Vanessa explained, you know, what goes on in primary is certainly quite different to the way it goes on in lower secondary. So you have different subjects and you have to move from class to class, and you don't have a homeroom teacher, but you've got an advisor, and you've got lots of different teachers rather than, you know, 3 or 4. So yes, it can be a little bit daunting for children going from 6 to 7. So we start early. We start in year 6. So the students have a whole day when they come into secondary, and they go to subjects and they learn all about, oh my goodness, we have science now, and we have English, and we have art. So it's a whole new different way of learning as well. So the transition we usually have in March or April, and then we invite parents in to talk about the transition. We have a Q&A with the kids, and then eventually over the summer holidays we prepare them, and then they start in September. And then of course, you know, that's when the fun begins.
I remember we would have, in the beginning of the academic year, we do have sessions for parents that we also recorded and put in YouTube for those who cannot make it on that at that time. About middle school and high school presentation, how the routine, the daily timetables, what to do, who to contact. We provided them all in a presentation, and also we share the documents for the families to access. So it's a very interesting
I mean, I think the transition from primary, it can be equally as daunting for parents as well. So you're exactly right. Communication is the key, and making sure that everybody knows what's going on and what's going to be happening.
Right. Okay. So thank you for all academic leaders, teachers, student leaders, and of course our prospective families for joining us this morning. We hope that all of us have provided you with all the things you need to make an informed decision to enroll your children at ACG School Jakarta. We have a rolling enrollment process and accept students throughout the academic year. For families who joined with us this morning, remember we offer a waiver of application fee and development fee for any application received by the end of November. Your journey begins here, so don't forget to have that phone call, email me or chat me on WhatsApp, and simply book an appointment through the booking system and see yourself how good ACG is. Meet all the team that we have here this morning yourself, and then That would be all from me this morning. We look forward to welcome you to our community where we can all live the vision of ACG School Jakarta to educate, create, and innovate. Terima kasih and have a nice weekend.
Thank you.